We are also getting visuals right now of Prime Minister Modi meeting top economists. This is a key meeting ahead of the budget, and this is of course consultations that he's having with country's top economists as well as experts. There are several NITI Aayog senior officials who are present in that meeting as well as senior officials from the Finance Ministry. The Finance Minister herself, of course, also a part of that meeting. That you can see the Prime Minister there holding this consultative meeting with top economists. Remember that the budget will be presented in Parliament on July 23rd. So ahead of that crucial session, the Prime Minister there chairing this meeting with top economists, with the Finance Minister by his side. There are several senior economists of the country who are present in that particular meeting. This is a consultation being held by the Prime Minister in order to pick their brain ahead of the budget presentation. Several top Finance Ministry officials are also present over there. NITI Aayog officials present as well ahead of this key pre-budget meeting, which is being held as we speak. Those are the latest visuals coming in from that particular meeting. This is, of course, in order to shape the roadmap for what lies ahead, what will be, what can be included in the budget, in the union budget, which is slotted to be presented in the Parliament later this month. The focus, of course, the budget is expected to significantly bring relief to industries and the middle and lower middle income classes as well. And this is a meeting which is currently being chaired by the Prime Minister with the top economists ahead of the union budget. This very important meeting which is being held, which is a consultation meeting with top economists that the Prime Minister is chairing ahead of the union budget. Remember that the budget session is scheduled to take place towards the last week of July. The budget presentation will, of course, take place on July 23rd. And ahead of that, this is a meeting which is being held, which is being chaired by the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, of course, has just returned after his successful Russia and Austria tour. And the first item on his agenda there, as you can see, is that meeting there with top economists of the country in order to get their views on some of the key issues which are likely to find a place in the union budget presentation. And in order to, this is of course a consultation meeting which is being held. There are senior Finance Ministry officials also who are present in this particular meeting in order to take down notes as to what are some of the opinions being shared by the top economists, or what their views are on some of the big concerns lying ahead for the government as it prepares for the budget. And there you can see the Finance Minister also, Nirmala Sitharaman, sitting beside the Prime Minister, and she's of course also along with officials from the Finance Ministry part of this meeting. Several top economists who are present in this particular meeting to share their insights on what should be some of the main issues that the government looks into while it prepares for the budget. As we said, that the budget is going to be presented on July 23rd, and this meeting is essentially aimed at gathering insights from leading economists as the government is in the process of giving shape to the union budget. So the focus and the priorities of the budget are some of the aspects which will be discussed in this meeting. And what are some of the challenges that lie ahead for the country amid several geopolitical situations as well, and of course keeping in mind the Russia-Ukraine war as well as the Israel conflict over there, and of course the key focus areas are likely to be on agriculture, defense, as well as healthcare. Now, let me go across to my colleague Himanshu, who's tracking this meeting. Himanshu, this is, of course, a meeting in order to get insights from some of the top economists. What exactly are some of the aspects which are going to come up, or is there any specific agenda which is being laid out as the government listens to the opinion and the views of top economists in this meeting?
Well, definitely. The agenda is the budget making exercise, as we know, is in final stages. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has actually invited top economists to get their views and suggestions in terms of what Government of India needs to do on the economic front. As we know that India is now in the process of becoming the third largest economy, and the Prime Minister has prepared a short-term and a long-term agenda in terms of taking the Indian economy forward. And this exercise, this interaction, the brainstorming session ahead of the budget is part of that larger exercise to give a right direction to the Indian economy. Behind me is Niti Aayog. As you can see, it has been covered. Prime Minister is still inside. The meeting started around 12:15, so it's been almost an hour since Prime Minister has been inside. We have been told that Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Dr. Suman Beri actually made a detailed presentation in the beginning of the meeting, detailing the priorities that Niti Aayog wants the government to focus on. Now, as far as the government's priority is concerned, we do know that the first decision that the Modi cabinet had taken after Prime Minister Modi took charge for the third time was to create 3 crore new houses for poor people in the rural and urban areas. That essentially means that the allocation for this construction of 3 crore new homes under the PM Awas Yojana needs to be actually funded, and for that more allocation is expected. We also know that infrastructure will be a key focus area. In the interim budget that Finance Minister had presented on 1st February this year, the allocation for infrastructure was increased by around 11% to 11,121 crore rupees. Now, industry wants that this allocation should be increased. There is also a proposal before FM submitted by CII that there has to be a change in the personal income tax slab. So there are different kinds of suggestions in terms of not only giving relief to the Aam Aadmi, to the farmers, to kickstart the growth momentum in the infrastructure sector and especially agriculture. Remember, Prime Minister, when he took charge on the same day, the first file that he had signed was to give the 17th installment under the PM Kisan Yojana to farmers. And after that, Prime Minister had issued a statement saying that my government's top priority in the coming months will be on agriculture. So agriculture also is part of the larger strategy to actually give a new spurt to the economic growth. Infrastructure, housing, these are the primary sectors on which the government is focusing now, and this is expected to get priority in this year's budget. And this interaction that Prime Minister is now holding, the brainstorming session with economists, is of course an opportunity for Prime Minister to get a first-hand input from India's leading economists as to what exactly should be the focus area of the government in the coming year.
Right, Himanshu, they're bringing us the updates on this very important, crucial meeting taking place ahead of the budget presentation. Thank you so much for joining us with the details.